Your one click on the subscribe button makes a huge difference. Thank you for your kind support.
In the chilling horror film Until Dawn, Dr. Alan Hill emerges as one of the most enigmatic and disturbing characters. At first glance, he appears to be simply the gas station attendant who warns Clover and her friends about the dangers of Clover Valley. However, as the nightmarish time loop unfolds, we discover he's much more than he initially seems. 20 years before the events of the film, Clover Valley suffered a catastrophic mining disaster that claimed over 1,100 lives. According to news reports the characters discover, miners had dug too deep into the earth and too far under the town, causing much of it to collapse. In the aftermath, Dr. Alan Hill was brought in as a trauma specialist to work with survivors. This seemingly benevolent role masked his true intentions. When Clover finally confronts Hill in the film's third act, he reveals his sinister purpose. Far from helping trauma victims, Hill has been using Clover Valley as a laboratory for studying fear. He explains to Clover that he deliberately orchestrates the nightmarish scenarios, placing traumatized individuals like her and her sister Melanie in this already traumatized location to observe what happens. This place is drawing on your insecurities and your fears, Hill tells Clover, revealing that she serves as the engine that powers the manifestations of horror they experience. The various monsters and threats the friends encounter throughout their time loop aren't random, they're personalized reflections of Clover's psychological state. The masked killer represents feelings of powerlessness, the witch embodies depression, and the spontaneous combustion reflects her self-destructive tendencies. Hill's twisted philosophy is summarized in his chilling statement, "Trauma becomes terror." He views the suffering of others as merely data for his studies, showing no remorse for the terror he inflicts. His experiments have claimed countless victims before Clover and her friends arrived, as evidenced by the wall of missing persons posters they discover early in their ordeal. The rules of Hill's cruel game become clear when he states, "Someone always has to die for others to escape." This explains why the friends keep dying and resetting, trapped in an endless cycle of terror. Each death is recorded in the mysterious guest book through signatures that multiply with each reset, marking how many chances each person has before they permanently become part of the night. Hill's character represents the exploitation of psychological pain. As a trauma specialist who creates more trauma rather than healing it, he embodies the dangers of approaching psychological suffering with harmful intentions. His detached, clinical observations of Clover's fear show his complete disconnect from human empathy. In the film's climactic confrontation, Clover turns Hill's own rules against him. When he explains that someone always has to die, she declares, "This time it's you." This moment represents Clover taking control of her narrative, refusing to remain a victim of her trauma or Hill's manipulation. By confronting both Hill and her own fears directly, she breaks the cycle of terror he created. Dr. Alan Hill serves as both the literal villain of Until Dawn and a metaphorical representation of how trauma can be weaponized against us. His defeat symbolizes the possibility of overcoming even the most profound psychological suffering and finding a way forward. Though the film's ending maintains some ambiguity about whether the survivors truly escape or remain trapped in another iteration of the cycle, Clover's confrontation with Hill represents an essential step in her journey toward healing.